So welcome. I'm Joe Weston, and this is our weekly online global meditation for lasting peace. It's March 10th, 2020. And here we are. And for me, this is a significant day for on many reasons, because you're all here, but also for those of you who don't know, March 10th is the annual day that people come and consider the movement of Free Tibet. It's Free Tibet Day.
Oh, wow.
And and that's dear to my heart because my teacher and many people I know actually walked over the Himalayas in sandals to escape oppression in the late 1950s. And it's interesting with all the things that are happening in the world and economy and all of that, and the panic around the virus, the flu. We forget these things. So this is a day where I'm going to take some time to be quiet and remember the people of Tibet, those who are still in Tibet, and those who are refugees, and to consider for all of us, and as a way of thinking of all those who are feeling homeless or feeling like they can't access their home or feeling that their homes are being manipulated or oppressed around the world in whatever way that looks. To just consider that. So for me, there's a special energy for today's meditation as we do this global meditation for lasting peace. And I bring that in. I started talking last time. So for those of you that are here for the first time, welcome. It's great to have you here. And we start with, I'm going to just share some ideas and thoughts that I've had for the week. And then I'll lead you in the practice. And then we get a chance afterwards to reflect and share our own whatever's coming up for us, and then we close with a dedication. And last week I started talking about something that I'm developing in this new book that I'm writing called Fierce Civility. And there's many different aspects of that I certainly will bring up in the book, but on some level I could distill it down to how can we be in the world in a way where basically is how do you approach or confront a bully kind of energy, whether that's a person or a system. And I'm sure Parker can tell us all about that there. Without becoming a bully, without becoming the very thing that you're looking to confront, and at the same time not becoming a victim. And a lot of the work with the respectful confrontation work I do, and now with the fierce civility, is about that. How do we find our own unique power? How do we find our own way of being in the world that for us, we can, for ourselves, define as powerful. And that's really my mission, is for myself and those I work with, is to how do we cultivate within ourselves and really own it with courage and power, what power means for us, how that is in relation to others, how that's in relation to the planet, and to live it fully for the purpose of being of a beneficial influence to others. And in the support of others. And as you always hear me say, with this meditation, what we're cultivating here is what I call resilience and fierce compassion. With this practice that we do on a weekly basis, and for those of you who are actually doing it almost every day, is how do we take on that role of what I would say being midwives on this planet at this moment. Many people say it's an inflection point, that it's an important moment in our human history of a system that is slowly dying away, not necessarily peacefully, but it is dying away. It seems to be taking a lot down with it. And a system that is being born, that is already here and is just looking for its space to begin to shine and flourish. And who are those on the planet that are holding space for both, for as a midwife, for lovingly and compassionately helping in a peaceful way the system that is ready to pass on, to actually pass on. And this whole system of a new way of being on this planet as human beings that has been cultivating, germinating for decades now, that's about to blossom. So midwives for the dying, midwives for the birthing of something new. And in that, I'm not a midwife, I'm not a doula, but I have worked with them, and I know that they are some of the most resourceful, resilient, fierce people I've ever met. who can be fierce in their when they need to, and gentle and soft when they need to do what they're called to do. And that is a practice. Some of us may have it naturally, and even if we do have it naturally, as the circumstances on the planet continue to accelerate in terms of raising the level of anxiety for a lot of us, are we upping our game? Are we increasing in our practices, in our own level of resilience and our own level of holding in our hearts all beings, particularly all human beings, as a practice? So that is what we're here to do. If for those of you who have been coming for quite a long time on a weekly basis, it's great we're creating a lovely community. For those of you here for the first time, glad you're here to check this out and see how it is. And but we started a little series, and I was talking about these 4 points of how can we be in the world. And in a sense, in my research around what does it mean to be our best human selves, and what's like a blueprint. And if you look back to all cultures, going back thousands and thousands of years, that there was always some code of ethics that every system has shared for how we can be our best human beings. And we can go into each one of them in depth, but in some ways I've distilled them down to 4 points. That basically, if we to be able to say, I can practice this on a regular basis, and if I'm practicing this, then I know I'm doing my best to be the best human being I can be on this planet. And for me, an important value, and for many of you, I'm sure, is service. It's how can I be of service, and how can I increase my scope of influence so that with actually less time and effort, more effortlessly, have more of an impact with the time and energy I'm using. So those 4 things are, first one is be kind. The second one is clean up your mess. The third one is take care of and protect others. And the fourth one is investigate the true nature of what you believe to be true. And each one of them, there's a teaching in each one of them. And I started last week about talking about be kind. And I'm debating, because I would love to continue this conversation, and maybe I need to skip one, because what I do want to address is, particularly because I was just in New York City teaching a workshop, which was very beautiful. Some of you on this call were part of it. So it's great to see you. And it's an interesting field of energy around the anxiety around the coronavirus. And it's what's playing out, of course, in Italy and in various parts of the planet. And I do want to speak to that. It feels like I can't not speak to that. And, for many of you who know me, I really advocate for real life experience, that I think this is the great medium, using the World Wide Web to engage with one another, to create community like this, a meditation community of people who hold similar values around the world, to create this, what I call golden thread of lasting peace around the entire planet. So it's a great honor to have you all here. And we're taking advantage of this phenomenon called the World Wide Web. However, I do believe that what's truly important for human beings is true connection. Connection is the basis of the basic human need. And the need to actually gather in real time, in real space, the expression I use, breathing the same oxygen, is essential. And not only just emotionally, but also physiologically, for our nervous system and for our development, and for our sense of that the deeper parts of us really can feel in our bodies a connection. And I still advocate for that. And what's interesting is that so much is happening in the last 10 to 20 years around the World Wide Web and other forms that are keeping us from actually gathering in real time. And now we're dealing with a situation where, with this virus that's going around the planet, which is really on some level accelerating that process of us not gathering in real time, or being suspicious about being around people in real time. And so it's great that we can continue to do this meditation through the World Wide Web. However, I do say, in terms of this idea of taking care of others and protecting others, there's an enormous amount of anxiety that we had before 3 or 4 months ago. Politically, economically, just what climate change is doing around the fears and anxieties of the future, and just climate migration. And I don't want to dwell on it to depress us, but I want to just make it aware that are we aware for ourselves of how much that is playing on our nervous systems? And even though we may feel resilient, maybe it's time that we have to really up our own practices of resilience to meet the times we're in now. And I just want to speak to this idea that each one of us has different relationship with anxiety. And that while you may be managing the current anxieties well, there may be others who aren't. And so one of the things I'd like to offer from this perspective of take care of others and protect others is to just be mindful of people you haven't heard from for a while who may need to hear from you. And that just the simple act of just waking up in the morning and thinking of 3 or 4 people who you think could really just a text with a heart. It doesn't have to be a lot of time and energy. I try to make that a regular practice. What are we doing with our time and energy to foster a world, not just in our thoughts, not just with the books we read, not just with the great words of, but with our actions? And that it doesn't have to be that we can change with a movement. It could be great if it could, or we have to be in Congress, or we have to be leaders. What can we do today? What can you do today? And I'm sure there could be about 10 to 20 things that are as small as sending someone a text who you think might be isolating and in a place of fear and not connecting, who could just to know that there's someone reaching out could shift their lives. And I know this from the work that I did with combat veterans, and working with the combat veterans who basically every night would put a loaded gun in their mouth and say, is this the night I pull the trigger? And I'm not saying people who have guns in their mouths, but that you don't know what a heart text could do to shift someone out of that kind of state, and just to remind them that they're not alone. So this is one way that I'll talk more about taking care of others and protecting others, but I just want to invite us, we're holding this space on the planet for the possibility of a world that can really manifest lasting peace. What are we doing on a day-to-day basis to actually manifest it today, that it's not just an idea in the future? And so being kind is one of them, and this idea of taking care of others and protecting others. I will talk more about it in another session, but just that one thing, in these next couple of weeks, when people are feeling this higher level of anxiety, what can you do with really not a lot of effort to just check in with your people and remind them that they're not alone, and to help them regulate their nervous system, and maybe that can at the same time help you keep your nervous system regulated, and remembering who we are at our best and at our most powerful. So I want to offer that just for this week as something to consider. I'd like to now lead us in our meditation. Sorry? I'd hear someone speak. Oh, sorry. Yeah, if you can mute if it's possible for you to mute your, whatever you mute, your microphone, that would be great. And if you want to afterwards share some words, we can do that afterwards. So this meditation is based on the core practice in my methodology called respectful confrontation. It's called the core practice. And it begins with us making connection with our own core. And for those of you who haven't worked with me, or you may know this from other practices, but for me, your core is somewhere in your lower belly. It's approximately the width of 3 fingers below your navel and a third of the way into the body. So if you want to find out where that is, if you put your fingers together and you place your index finger over your navel, where your pinky resides, that's approximately the width of 3 fingers below your navel. And then if you bring your attention to that spot, you may want to close your eyes and just get a sense of where that might be inside. From that spot, the width of 3 fingers below your navel, now bring your awareness inside of your body about a third of the way. From the front of the body. So you're investigating a spot in your lower belly that's approximately the width of 3 fingers below your navel and a third of the way into the body. See if you can place your full attention on this spot. Just recall, just remembering for yourself, there's no right way to do this or wrong way to do this. It's about finding your way. What you're actually doing is cultivating deeper listening, presence, centeredness, and increased awareness, resilience, compassion, balance, and flow. So from your center, becoming aware of the parts of your body that are connecting with what you're sitting on, and using those spots of what you're sitting on as contact points to anchor you. And from those spots, let yourself be held by the chair or the cushion or the floor, letting gravity bring you closer to the ground. Sitting in a way where your spine is straight and relaxed, your jaw is relaxed, your belly is relaxed, coming to stillness. Easy breath. From your center, become aware of your physical body. Just noticing sensations, breath, heartbeat, where there might be tension or relaxation. So what you're doing is you're opening a deeper level of awareness in your center. Center of awareness, personal power, impulse. From your center, become aware of your emotions. Maybe hundreds of emotions flowing through you. Which ones seem to be most on the surface? Knowing all feelings are welcome. From your center, become aware of your thoughts. Not necessarily what are your thoughts, but how are they? Tight and judgmental, spacious and generous. And taking a moment to acknowledge that there's a part of you that's aware of your thoughts, which implies that you are not just your thoughts. They're just a part of you. And what we're cultivating here is a deeper, easier relationship with a part of you that's aware. Maintaining a connection with your core, your personal power, awareness, and now bringing awareness to your heart, or the middle of your chest, where your heart power resides. Compassion, understanding, respect, honor. And from both your personal power, your center, and your heart, ask yourself the question, how connected do I feel at this moment to something larger than myself? Whatever that means for you, that could be something spiritual, it could be humanity, it could be your highest values. At this moment, from your center and heart, how connected do you feel to something larger than yourself? And as we cultivate more awareness and connection with the present moment through ourselves, and a deeper awareness now of ourself in this present moment, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, from your center and from your heart, take a full breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Now, with more of an awareness of yourself in this present moment, from your center and from your heart, become aware of your surroundings, keeping your eyes closed, just noticing with your senses in all directions, behind you, above you, smells, sounds, from your center and from your heart, connecting with your surroundings. Noticing how that might be impacting you. And with more of an awareness of yourself and your surroundings, from your center and from your heart, take a full breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. And with more of an awareness of yourself and your surroundings in this present moment, as we build on the present moment, maintaining a connection with yourself and your surroundings, and now from your center and your heart, becoming aware of those in this meditation circle. How is it now from where you are sitting, simply with your awareness and your heart and your personal power to connect with all of those on this meditation circle, in various parts of North America, various parts of Europe, perhaps those who are with us in their own way around the world. And notice, how might you be impacting them, and how might they be impacting you? Now, with more of an awareness of yourself, your surroundings, and those in this meditation circle, from your center and from your heart, take a full breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. And since this is about balance and flow, if you're noticing that energy wants to move through you, simply let it move through you. If emotions want to move through you, let them flow, no judgment. Now, with more of an awareness of yourself, your surroundings, and those in this meditation circle, we increase our capacity of understanding this present moment by bringing in up to our hearts the whole human family, starting with those humans that you would label loved ones. So maintaining your connection with yourself, your surroundings, and those in this meditation circle, now from your center and from your heart, become aware of those human beings on this planet that you would label loved ones. They could be close by, they could be on the other side of the planet. Notice who pops into your head, into your mind's eye. You could see one person, you could see a group of people. Connecting from your heart. Considering how you might be impacting them at this very moment, and they you. And from your center and from your heart, becoming aware of those human beings on this planet that you would label stranger. I'm assuming for you that's a large group. It could be more than 7 billion people. How is it possible at this moment, in your personal power and your heart, to open up to a connection with all of those 7 billion beings? They could be a neighbor. They could be a person you see in the supermarket. Could be a person on the other side of the planet. You could see groups of people, you could see individuals. And notice, how might you be impacting them and how might they be impacting you? And from your center and from your heart, becoming aware of those human beings on this planet that you would label adversary. Again, you could see individual faces, you could see groups of people. They could be neighbors, they could be on the other side of the planet. Resilience practices at this moment, how open is your heart to them? Allowing energy to flow and emotions to flow. Now with more of an awareness of yourself, your surroundings, those in this meditation circle, and all human beings, regardless of how you label them as loved one, stranger, or adversary. From your center and from your heart, take a deep, deep, full breath right into your heart, in through your nose, out through your mouth. And notice the benefits of the efforts of what you just put in. Expansion in your heart, presence, resilience. Maintaining that sense of expansion in your heart and connection with all human beings. Keeping that in your heart as we now bring our focus. So taking the whole human family with you in your heart as we now bring our focus back to those in this meditation circle. And taking those in this meditation those in this meditation circle with you as you bring your awareness back to your surroundings. And finally taking the human family, those in this meditation circle, these surroundings, back into your own heart, your own personal power, back to yourself. And maybe even considering and remembering that you're actually one of those human beings that you've taken into your heart. So bring yourself into your heart. And taking a moment to register in your system what the impact was of this practice. Take it into your nervous system, allowing yourself to remember it. As a way to close this practice, taking another deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And when you're ready, slowly open your eyes, shake your body, stretch your body, registering how you're feeling and what you're experiencing. So we started with the motivation, we did our practice, and now we open it up for anyone who wants to share if anything came up for you in the meditation or in some of the things that I said that you might want to share with the group, a chance to share with each other. Who would like to share? Okay, I just want to say Tammy is asking that we say, hello, Ms. Alberta. Thank you for joining us. It's great to have you in this meditation with us. You can feel your energy, powerful energy. Thanks, Tammy, for bringing her along. So you can type in a response. You can say it in one word. You can say it in many words. Thanks, Paul. If I may read, it was both emotional and relaxing. Thank you. Thank you. Glad to hear it.
I was noticing how moved I was to have this so many Italians with us. And it feels like especially important right now to connect in this way with people all over the world. It's funny, you know, when I hear the news about Italy, I always think of Alexandro. So it's like you are my face. So to have others here as well, it's just, I was very moved and my heart felt very full. And I love how, you know, Joe always uses this sort of cute old-fashioned term, the World Wide Web. And I only just sort of got today how actually beautiful that phrase is. So I could feel the web today. I'm grateful for all of you.
Thank you. Hey, Tilko, yes, we miss you too. We missed you too, and it's really happy to have you back from the Netherlands. Thank you.
I have a couple things to share. Oh, sorry. Okay. One piece was that I saw the face of homophobic people during the adversary section, which was surprisingly the first time that's come to my mind. And I saw these people hating me for being a gay man. And it was abrasive at first, but I don't know if you said resilience, Joe, but resilience came into my consciousness and I was able to just open my heart a little more, and I really felt into that resilient heart power. So that was really powerful for me. The other thing that occurred to me is I have a practice that I've been doing where at 3:33 p.m. a alarm goes off reminding me to make connections. And I've usually been doing it for networking purposes. And so I'll reach out to someone, you know, who it'd be useful for me to be connected to at 3:33. But I now want to add 2 people. So I want to connect to 3 people at 3:33. And it won't just be for advancing my career. It'll also just be to connect with people. So I invite others to consider playing with that little exercise at 3:33, connecting with 3 people.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No,
go ahead. Yeah.
In the same vein, but in a, I want to just let you guys know if you're interested that I through this nonprofit that I direct called Learning Life, am connecting families across borders in different countries for a photo project this year on Facebook. So if you happen to be on Facebook and you're interested in connecting and learning, speaking of this World Wide Web and kind of this practice of caring and learning about others, it's called the Family Diplomacy Initiative, and it's on Facebook. And we'd love to have more families involved in this photo project this year. So,
Thank you, Paul. Paul's doing remarkable work around the world. Maybe you want to type in a link?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's great to have you here, Paul. And Michael DePass, you powerful to connect with others energetically during these scary times. Yeah, thank you, Michael. It's so great to see your name here. I remember you from way back when, and it's really nice to see that you're joining us. Thank you. I hope you can continue to join us. Anyone else want to share?
I just want to thank Amelia for her vibe. Everybody knows Amelia is very special in her vibes. And I want to tell you how practically I felt your support in these days. And I'm talking about something which is real and it's not in my mind. And I've been thinking all of the time of every single a moment that I had the chance to share things with you guys. And I realized for the first time in my life that community and love is a very practical thing. It's very practical. And the other thing is that it's very difficult during the meditation to regard the virus as an enemy because the virus is a state of mind. You know, here everybody's, you know, intrigued by the fact, is that real? Is that exaggerated? Well, it's real, it's exaggerated. It depends on, you know, on where are we tuned, what are we tuned with? And I think that that this kind of form that are uncomfortable, our trauma is taking at these times in my country is a huge opportunity, because if we can survive this, it means that we are ready to step into another phase of a story that is completely exhausted, doesn't have anything to say anymore.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that I used to do this practice in a specific, and that was the first time I did it out of contest. So it was new to me, but it was interesting to feel that I accepted it. It was a great experience.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Maya. It's great to see you here. Great to see you. It's great to see you here. Thank you.
Joe, she's a
Yes, I know. I know.
Can I also share something?
Of course.
Thank you very much for having me in your circle. I heard so much about you, and I'm really glad to be here with you, to actually share something that is happening here and now with this group of people that I've known for some aspects through somebody's stories. So, and it's a very good feeling to be connected outside the quarantined areas we are confined in. It gives you really space to imagine something new and better and beautiful.
Thank you. It's great to have you join us, and we're here every week. So keep joining us. And if any of you would need to reach out to me, please do. If you need to feel like you can connect, please reach out. And if we're finding that we as a group need to do this for the coming time twice a week, we'll do it twice a week if need be. See if we can make that work. Yeah.
After hearing Alessandro talk, I was struck by this practice of distancing. I don't know how that translates to Italian or Dutch, but many are asking that people keep a certain distance away from each other, and that the collective action of distancing could actually bring us together. There's some paradox there that strikes me. And Alessia and Mariana, after hearing so much about both of you, it's good to see your faces.
Yeah, definitely. And I wanna. Was there anyone else who wanted to add real quick? You want to, Silas? Did you want to say something?
I was part of the group that got to spend time with Joe in New York this weekend, and to use your own analogy, Joe, the dimmer switch in my heart is on full blast, and being able to bring that back into this shared online space really does tie that together, and I'm so grateful. So thank you. Thanks for the ones who are in that circle too.
Thank you, Saz. Good, powerful work. I want to just finish up and say about the distance thing. Yeah, I agree. Also, what Alessandro said. That's my belief, is that this is an opportunity this may accelerate some of the dying process for the old system. So this is where we're needed to be midwives for that, to help that to be as peaceful as possible, to ease people's anxiety. as something new is getting stronger and stronger, which is about compassion and love and equity and inclusion. And I want to say that this is an interesting thing to consider this and to leave you with about what we're cultivating with fierce compassion and resilience, and this idea of the power of open-heartedness, is that we may have physical distance, but what are we doing to bridge our emotional distance? And that we have power over that. We may be quarantined, or we may not be able to control how physically close we can be, but we have total power over how we choose to bridge or not with others. And that the more we do this practice, we cultivate that. We break through our own, from our own side, how we're creating distance and breaking. And that's the essence of fierce civility, is how are we taking responsibility for our own, where we have power to create transformation, and this belief that cultural transformation has to start with personal transformation. So let's take a final breath to close this section, and just feeling the remarkable amount of positive energy and healing energy. Oh, I just want to say, if you haven't read in the chat, there's some more beautiful things that have been said, and Paul has given a couple of links and email addresses if you want to follow up with him with the great work that he's doing. Tell other people about this if you feel like, particularly in other parts of the planet, so we can increase our different our web, and particularly those who are quarantined. If they've got nothing to do, it's a great thing to do once a week for 45 minutes. And with this energy that we've just created with this remarkable group of people around the world, I'd like to dedicate it to see where we can direct this for positive outcome and beneficial outcome. So for yourself, if you can think of groups of people or individuals you know, or meditations. I read what Tammy wrote, or initiatives that people are doing, to just take a moment in your heart to just direct this energy towards that. If you want to name some things that the group gets to hear it. For instance, the people of Tibet, whether they are no longer in Tibet or still in Tibet, may they reclaim their sense of home. For all the beings of Italy, China, people on cruise ships, may all initiatives like these and Paul's and all of you, the great work you're doing, may they flourish and grow with ease and abundance. And as I always end, may all beings on this planet have enough fresh water to drink and food to eat. And may all governments govern from a place of wisdom as opposed to fear and greed. So as a way of closing this, let's take one final breath. Again, thank you for joining. Hope to see you again next week. Be in touch if you need to reach out, and have a great week.